Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp of Olymp, and we're going to jump right back into some Fields of Fire with some gameplay examples. Here we're actually going to be playing the game. Previous videos I put up were some examples and a review video. Now, this game has already been started. I touched on it in my review video, and we're just going to carry on right from where I had left off in that review with the game, since I've already got it set up and ready to go. And we're just going to play through a few turns of it, let you guys see how the game is really handled when you're playing it out. Hey guys, just a quick bit of errata before we get started in the example play that I've got coming up. I want to touch on a couple things that I goofed on, nothing major. There's a couple of line of sight issues that I'll fix later on, but they're present in this video. And then there's an instance where I used a fire team instead of the assault team that I should have used. Not a huge deal. I'll switch those out later. Well, they get killed off later, so you guys will see that. But the main one that I wanted to actually touch on is sometimes when I review a game, I can't always play it according to the sequence of play or show it according to the sequence of play because I got to show all the aspects of the game. So when I reviewed the game, I used the setup that I'm playing now as the example. And I resolved the potential contact markers way early in the sequence of play to show that in the example, right? So I was doing this way out of order of what it's actually supposed to be done in the game. But then I went to film the example play right after I had done the review segment of the recording. And for some reason that just stuck in my mind and I didn't go back to the sequence of play like I should have. And I stayed out of it. That unfortunately gave me a rather large advantage in the first turn because I was popping these potential contact markers as I was running into them. So I knew exactly where the enemy was going to be and I could react to it. And normally you're not going to have that. You don't react to it until later. Then you pop them, then you see what happens, and you've already moved all your units. So you have to make your choices before you know where the enemy's going to be. I didn't do that. I was still in review mode and I just played it out like I was still in the review. And I didn't catch it until I had done all the potential contact markers on that first. Well, there's 4 on that first row and I did 3 of them. So unfortunately, that is way out of the sequence of play. It did affect things, but it's not a huge deal. Everything else is done correctly the way the game is supposed to be played. So I'm just going to leave it in as is. Just understand when you're watching this, I'm putting this up front right here so you guys can see it, that I know the sequence of play is off, that I'm popping these in the extreme wrong order. I was still just in my review video mode and not in the example of gameplay mode, and just played it way out of sequence. That's my bad. I didn't catch it till later. And you hear me kick myself. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I messed that up. Like, what the hell was I thinking? Sometimes we just make those goofs. Fields of Fire is one of those that's easier to make mistakes with because there are so many moving parts with a game. That, though, doesn't have anything to do with the game. It just has to do with the 2 different types of video formats that I was doing. And for some reason, I just stuck with the first one right into the second one where I'm supposed to be following the rules exactly. I will be doing another video after that where I play into the second turn and I will be playing that one correctly so you guys see how it's supposed to be done. But yeah, just keep in mind as you're watching this, that the potential contact markers are not resolved until much later in the sequence of play, but I don't catch that until later. How I resolve them is for the most part okay, but you're not supposed to do that until then. I just royally screwed that up. It is what it is. I might have forgotten to draw for a couple of them. That's just something that doesn't stick with me for whatever reason. The rest of the rules are fine, but to draw for potential contact, I think that one just always fades out of my brain for whatever reason. Some things just don't stick. That's one of them for me. Game's still good, still a great game, still have a lot of fun with it, but try not to give yourself an advantage by playing it out of the sequence of play like I did. All right, now let's go on to the example of play. Now, where we had left off, we had some orders already drawn for our guys. We had shown an example of our company HQ getting his orders. He got 4. He passed them down. He activated 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3 platoons, rather. And then the tank platoon got activated as well. The platoons each have an assortment of attachments that I gave to them. So they each have a little bit of anti-tank. They've each got a machine gun team, and they've each got a mortar team. And then there's a tank on each one of those cards. We've got an HQ tank. I also have added the communications aspect, the phones in this case. Company HQ is considered to always be in command with battalion, with their hire. So for the basics of this gameplay, they're all going to be considered line experience, just base experience. Company HQ is always going to be considered to be in command. He's good as far as radio. And the rest of the guys are going to have to maintain their phone lines as they push forward. But that's easy as long as your lines don't get cut, because they've got their little tac phones that they can use to talk to each other. Since we are considering the company HQ is in command with hire, that's also going to apply for our mortar and artillery fire observers, forward observers here. They're going to be considered to be in command as well if I end up calling in some offboard artillery for them, but we'll have to see how the rest is panned out. So with our first platoon, they had issued an order. They broke off a piece of first platoon, first squad, a little fire team, rushed forward into the farm to trying to find out what's going on. They exposed a potential contact C. And they did find something. They found an enemy machine gun team that is hiding in a foxhole up here. They started opening up, and now our fire team is exposed, and they're taking automatic fire. That was the first order of first platoon HQ giving it out. He's got 3 orders left that he can give right now, and then we can get into the others. So again, before I can start giving orders with second and third and tanks, I have to finish with first. So he gets to issue his 4, or save some of them if he wants to, and then you go on. So you can't intermix. You can't do some orders with 1, then some orders with 2, and then some back order to 1. No, you have to finish with one of the HQs before you move on to the next. Now, sadly, I can't issue any further orders to the fire team in this segment, so I couldn't tell them to do anything else. 1, because they're exposed, and 2, because they're technically out of communications with their commander. The platoon HQ is still back here in the staging area. So the only people I can give orders to right now are here. So the problem I'm having is I want to try to spot the machine gun team because they are unspotted currently, but I can't issue the orders to do that. So if I move forward a team into one of these other adjacent cards, yeah, they can move there, but now they will be out of command. They will also be exposed. So it kind of creates this problem. I need to see the enemy so I can get some PDFs, those primary directions of fire, going towards the enemy to try to suppress them. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do here is I want to try to get some guys forward, and we're going to take the remainder of our first platoon, first squad, and move them forward, but I'm going to give them an infiltrate order instead to try to move them forward without getting the exposed marker. You can do that as long as the unit does not have an exposed marker themselves. This unit does not, and it has to be moving onto a card that has a volume of fire, VOF marker on it, which this one does. So this is the second order for our platoon HQ. And I did something that I probably shouldn't have. Before I started playing the game proper, I went ahead and reshuffled all the cards, and I really shouldn't have done that because that changes the odds of it. I hadn't drawn the shuffle card, but in between videos, I have reshuffled the deck. So we're just going to go with it, but FYI, I goofed. I reshuffled prior, but it is what it is. Now, when you're doing this, you are going to look on your little player aid here. We are doing an attempt to infiltrate, and I'm not doing oh, that's the draw I was looking at. I was thinking, I was like, that's not 2 orders. Yeah, doing the platoon. If I did a platoon, have a platoon infiltrate, it will cost 2 orders. I'm only doing 1 unit, so it's just a single order to do that. and I get 2 draws at this. That can be increased or decreased based on things like experience, but I'm not using experience, so I'm just getting the 2 draws. So unit's going to go there. We're going to spend another order with our first platoon, and first card is a rally. That's not going to work. Is that the infiltrate? Hold on. Let me look. There's symbols. Is that the symbol I'm looking for? Yes, that is the symbol that I'm looking for. All right. I was thinking, I was like looking for the word cover, but no, I am looking for that symbol, that little group of guys moving along shady like that. So that's actually the symbol that I am looking for. And I wasn't thinking that was it at first, but that's good. That means that we will succeed, but we will draw our second card. And our second card, strangely enough, doesn't have it, but it does have the cover marker. I could have used that later when I try to get guys into cover, but hey, it is what it is. No big deal. So they will move forward, and I'm specifically keeping this exposed marker away from them. That way I know that these guys are exposed, but these guys are not. Now I've got 2 other orders, and I would love to go, hey, indirect fire, toss some mortars in, but I can't do that because they are still back here in the rear. And what can I do? I don't want to risk my anti-tank or my machine guns right now. I really want to get a spotting thing going. But what I might do, because both of these units are going to suffer that volume of fire, what I'll probably do is stop here. I will save those orders. So I'll flip this over to commands, activations complete, and I'll leave him on the 2. So he's got 2 orders that he can use next turn. But for a general initiative, I'll get some orders, and I can use that to have this guy try to attempt to spot as long as nothing else bad happens over here. All right, second platoon's going next. We're going to move them down by 1. And honestly, I shouldn't have put all these here yet. I should have kept them up there, but I'd gone ahead and pulled them down in our review example. So we're dealing with it. It is what it is, but it's no big deal. They're going to spend 1 order, and they are going to do the same thing the first platoon did. They are going to try to figure out what's going on over here. They are going to break down a unit because, again, in case you run into something very, very bad like mines or incoming artillery, you can find stuff like that, and that will be very bad. So if I know there are mines here, I don't want to send a team in through that direction, so I'm not going to move the whole squad. I'll risk a fire team, and then if there's mines, we'll go around. Now, FYI, our situation has changed. I have actually flipped it up. I'm keeping track of it on the counter over here, but we are at the contact level. Previously, we were not engaged, but now we are engaged, and that changes the amount of draws that happen with these potential contacts. There is a little player aid card here that tells you what's going on, type of PC marker, and depending on your level of contact, there's fewer and fewer draws. So basically, when you're more and more and more engaged with the enemy, you will draw less cards. So now I actually only have to draw 3 cards to see if I make contact here instead of the 4. So let's see, 1, 2, come on, no contact. Oh, the contact. No, I didn't want contact there. I wanted those guys to be safe. All right, so we have found contact. We will, where's my exposed marker? Before I forget. And that's something that I think that I've noticed with this game is I will forget to mark that exposed when I move a unit. Always keep that in mind. Unless you're doing infiltration, you will always be marking someone as exposed. So you always have to do that. Here we have got another contact. So now we have to draw to see what we are going to find. So what are we going to draw? Otherwise, I could just roll the tanks forward and just raffle stomp these guys. And I'm not going to do that. We did get contact. We got contact for C. So we need to draw a random number out of 10. Out of 10, we've got 8. 8 is nothing. Yay! Wait, no, I was looking at the wrong thing. Package 8. We got 4. We got another light machine gun. And that's fine. We're going to have another light machine gun. We'll figure out where he's going to be. And that should be a light machine gun that's in in foxholes. And unfortunately, they are also going to be unspotted. This sucks. They keep unspotting these little douchebags. I do not want machine guns. They got a whole machine gun line opening up here. Let's roll. Let's draw to see where they're going to be. Out of 5, it's going to be 2. Again, that's going to be direct front. So we are going to have a machine gun team here in foxholes. Look, that's kind of neat. They're getting a line of foxholes. They are opening up. They are firing down. We will mark them with a PDF down towards my exposed fire team. And thankfully, they're firing across the green line. That means they get 2 bonus defense. That's that cover bonus for their terrain. It negates that 2 exposed marker, which helps, but still kind of sucks. All right. That's no bueno. No bueno. I've got 2 orders left, and I'm again in the same position with second platoon that I was in first platoon. I've got a area that's being hit with automatic fire, and units are exposed. There's not the ability to get a whole lot of cover markers. Here I can get 1. Here I can get 2. Here 1. Yeah, there's the whole front line here. There's not a whole lot of places to find cover. The woods up here, you can have up to 3 different cover markers. So they can get a whole lot of cover there. That'd be a good place for me to advance to if I can clear out that machine gun. Let's see. What do we want to do with our orders? I'll tell you what, just to... Well, now I could try to infiltrate. Yeah, I could try to infiltrate. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna try to infiltrate a squad forward. No, come on, no. Shit, that sucks. Okay, that doesn't work. Let's just slide them over as such, so we know they're both exposed. That leaves me 1, and we will save the 1 for later. And now I've got third squad. And what are they going to find? Probably another machine gun team. Probably a heavy machine gun team this time up here. Ah, crap. And now we have to actually change our contact level. We are now engaged because we have 2 cards with PDFs coming down onto them. And the only way this can increase now from engaged to heavily engaged is if I have a card that has my units and their units on it at the same time. Same thing, we've got 3 orders left for platoon 3, and we've got 1 order for the tanks. Tanks didn't get a whole lot of orders. I've got 2 saved orders for platoon 1, 1 saved order for platoon 2. Let's go ahead and do the same thing that we have been doing. It's worked well for us thus far. We'll move forward a fire team. We'll break off a little piecey piece. And you guys are probably asking yourselves, well, you attempted to infiltrate, which you successfully did here. Well, why aren't you doing that with your fire teams? You can't infiltrate into an area unless it already has a volume of fire on it. So I have to have something exposed there before I can infiltrate into the area. It was successful here. It wasn't here. We're going to have to resolve that fire. I'm going to need a lot of general orders because I really need to get these guys exposed, because if I expose them, I can get return fire going in their direction. All right, so let me not forget. Dummy is exposed. He's moved forward. We are spending the 1 order for that. And now we have to resolve our potential contact. And I think I only have to draw twice now. All right, so let's draw our cards. First one. Oh, look, there's my infiltrate. Oh, you couldn't have been 1 earlier. All right, so no contact markers. That's good. Why couldn't that card have been 1 higher? Just one infiltrate. So this potential contact is resolved with no contact. So nobody is here. These guys are exposed, but they're not exposed to anything. Okay. Okay, now I've got 2 orders left with third platoon. And right now I know I can get guys forward. I know I can get guys forward without having them take fire for the moment. Nothing else is going to open up on me unless I expose another contact marker for now. The enemy can react to me, but I think this would be a good idea to use some of my remaining orders for a third platoon to try to maybe get some of my heavier stuff forward. Because I would like to get a mortar team in position to be able to lob some stuff in on these idiots. Because that grenade modifier will do really significant damage. As you see there, it is a -4 or -3. Your scenario booklet will tell you which one it is. For this scenario, it's going to be 4 for everyone. And what that means is the enemy firing a grenade at me is going to be a -4. Me firing a grenade at them is going to be a -4. And that it symbolizes mortars. It can symbolize a grenade attack. It can symbolize multiple different types of attacks. All right. Yeah, I want to move something forward. I've got those 2 orders left. Maybe I move forward. Not an anti-tank team. I move forward my mortar team, my third mortars. It's only a single step, but that's fine. And move forward the remainder of the squad, and I will order them to reconstitute later. I've got the first sergeant over here as well, so when he draws for his initiative orders, I can use him to move forward and have him issue some actual orders to these idiots to call in some fire, but I still need to spot those morons first. The not spotting them is killing me. And for now, let's go ahead and, again, stack them all neatly next to this exposed marker so I remember that that is there. For the remainder of this turn, they are all exposed. I'm not infiltrating, so I don't forget that. But right now, nothing's firing. All right, so that's his 3 orders. He gets none saved, so he is spent. Now, I've got 1 order for the tanks. What do I want to do? And you know what? I think I'm going to do the same thing. There's no fire over here. And why is my command HQ here? I thought I put him over there. I might have moved him. Regardless, all of these guys are here at the rear. All the tanks are going to be considered to be in communication with each other at all times because they have built-in radios, so I don't have to worry about comms when it comes to just the tank platoon. So pretty much wherever they are, they get to talk. No one else gets that privilege. They get that privilege. But I'm thinking I issue an order for the tank to move forward. That will be his only order, sadly enough. But now, when there's a fire... oh, wait, I can't move him. I can't move him yet. I think tanks are handled at a different moment in the sequence of play when it comes to movement. I think I've resolved some of this fire first. Let me make sure. Yes. So we are at the friendly command phase. I'm doing all my activations, then I'll do my initiatives, and then we will do the offensive because I'm an offensive mission. So the enemy will have its potential events and activity check, and then mutual capture and retreat. So any units that retreat, or if you've got casualties that are in a card controlled by an enemy, they can be captured, or you can do the same versus them. That's handled, and then we get into vehicle movement phase. So yes, I got to keep that 1 order for now. And again, that's something that throws me when it comes to this game because vehicles are handled at a different time, and I want to move them when I'm moving all the rest of my units. I'm so used to doing that in other games that it's very easy for me to make that mistake, but we're not going to do that. And I moved that tank back to the wrong board. He was over here. But I just have to remember I've still got an order I can use for him, but we're not going to do that yet. Now we get into our initiative, and it's going to, again, start from higher and work its way down. So I'm going to have a company HQ, or not HQ, company XO, and a first sergeant. They are going to get initiative orders that they can use. And I spread those guys out as basically extra commanders to use to maybe control some of the stuff over here. So I can give some orders out, but I don't want to move the company XO and risk him. But let's see. At worst, I can save his orders, right? And same with the first sergeant. So let's draw for him real quick. Look at this shit. You get one little order. Let's draw real quick for him. He gets 2. That's not bad. 2 for the first sergeant, and that's not surprising. The first sergeant being so much better. Then an XO and a general initiative is after that. I wish there was a counter for general initiative because I will forget otherwise. Now, technically, I just realized this. I drew those in not necessarily the wrong order. I'm supposed to draw the XO's commands, give him his initiative commands, then do anything that I'm going to do with those. Then do the first sergeant, his orders. Same with all the different XOs that did not get drawn for, and then the initiative. But because I've already done it out of order, I'm going to go ahead and draw for it. I got 4 general orders. All right, now we'll carry those out in the proper order. So my XO has 1 order, then the first sergeant has 2 orders, and then I have 3 general orders I can use for anything, and that's before we get into the combat phase. Our mutual combat phase takes place over here. This is good. This is good. With these 4 general orders, I can get some stuff done, especially if I can spot these idiots. Because if I can get them spotted, I can get fire going at them, and that can help. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to do much to help the guys that are exposed and under fire. They're just going to have to weather the storm. But for the others, I can do some stuff like trying to move him into cover. And these guys, I don't have to worry too much since, again, they did not get a contact. So nothing coming at them yet. That doesn't mean that Dummy might not change his fire, though. If I start firing at him, he can switch his angle of fire over here, and that could hurt me. And, part of me likes to get a few orders banked on everyone. So I'm almost sitting here thinking I might just bank the XO's order because I don't want to move forward the machine guns. I already know what I'm doing with some of the others. And I have to risk it by trying to do infiltration. And the only way I can do some other stuff is if I do generals. Yeah. Just for now, we're going to bank that order for the XO. That means we can go the first sergeant with his 2 orders. I know I'm going to be moving a tank over for his fire. So I could move the first sergeant forward, hope they do not get attacked, and bank an order. So the first sergeant commanded himself forward. Now I've actually got a commander in the field who can do a little something. He's there. He's also exposed, just like everyone else. And he's got 1 banked order. Now this goes into my general initiative. This is where I want some stuff to start happening, like spotting these idiots. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let's start slow and get ready. We are going to spend 1 order to not reconstitute, but basically put this team back together. And that's automatic. I don't have to draw for it. So the fire team goes away, and this one flips back up to its full 3rd squad thing, or a 3-step squad. Basically, the fire team comes back together. If they were pinned, I think there's a draw, but there isn't just to do it. Normally, they are considered good order, even though they're next to an exposed marker. That's not going to hurt them. So I'm automatic there. That leaves me 3 orders left. I want to start spotting dummy 1 and dummy 2. That will give me the ability to put rounds down range. And that's the big thing that I want to do. So, yeah, let's do that first. We'll work left to right. Attempt to spot this one. No. That one, yes. So he is unspotted, or he is now spotted. Second one, well, take it down. And I'm just using that little bead just to remember how many general orders I've got left. We're attempting to spot here. No. And jam sucks. Spot it. Yay. Yay. All right. Now, I should have put the fire markers there, but that's fine. I can handle that now. He is now under fire, and he is now under fire, and he is now under crossfire. Let me put that there. He's not under crossfire because he's taking small arms fire, which is just the +0. The lower the number, the more damage it does. So with machine gun fire coming at my guys, he gets automatic, which is -1. Small arms, think rifles, right? The M1 Garand is what they're firing. That only counts as small arms, which is +0. That's your like base level. Pinned is +2. Automatic is -1. Heavy is -3. And grenades and the heavier stuff is -4. So -4 is the best that you can get, or one of the better ones that you can get. All right, so spotted, reconstitute. I got one left. Ooh. What do I do? Do we call in a fire mission? Oh, I need to put this here. I need to update these before I forget. Okay. So now he's taking fire from these two directions. That's why he's getting the crossfire penalty. And now this is reciprocal because they are firing back at him. And this one is reciprocal before I forget. All right. I was considering calling in some heavier fire, but I think I'm going to skip that. I would rather try to get some cover on the board. And sadly enough, I can only get cover over here because no one else. Well, no, I could have some of these guys seek cover as well. Yeah. But now my better units are over here. So I'm going to seek cover on this side. When you seek cover, you have to draw the number that is at the bottom. So it's 3 here, 4 here, 3 here. The more numbers, the better. That can be modified by certain things, again, like experience level. But we're not going to have to worry about that here. So what symbol am I looking for? For cover. Remind me very quickly. Spotting mines. Training deck. Oh, it just says cover. All right, we get to draw 3 cards. And the first one's victory. Yay. But we still got to draw the others. And look at all these infiltration cards that I'm getting when I don't need them. And a rally guard. Okay. That gets me a cover marker. And there is a special rule when it comes to cover for this scenario. Some of these terrain pieces I have to draw to determine what type of cover it is. Nope, that is only going to apply if I have village, farm, church, or cemetery as the cards. I don't know all the cards that are there. So that's not going to affect these guys' cover draw. So it's just going to be a basic cover that will be applied. Now, I'm not putting everyone underneath it. I am not putting everyone underneath it because I would get a penalty of -1 per step above 3 under a piece of cover. So I don't want to negate that. Sadly, the squad's going to be left out here in the open because I would rather protect the first sergeant and the mortars, so they will get it, because there'd be a -2 penalty for the 2 extra steps underneath the 1 cover. So these guys will get it. There's no volume of fire marker, but I am afraid that this guy's going to switch his volume of fire marker in this direction, making this go to here. And that will happen before we resolve fire. So I'm kind of worried about my more specialized units over here. I can lose squads and still have stuff to move forward, but I can't as easily replace machine gun teams or mortar teams. So I want to try to protect those, and especially the HQs. So we'll risk the squad instead. And that is my last general order. And FYI, you cannot bank general orders. So think of that as like smoke them if you got them. You need to spend those and get rid of them. Again, that's probably why there's not a marker for those, because you can't bank them. But I would still rather be able to bank those not bank them, but have a marker just to keep track of them. But that's fine. I can deal without that. Now that completes our general initiative. So now we have to go to the enemy potential event, and then activity. So we'll check for the activity of our 2 enemy machine gun teams. Now, the one thing I did not do in my review when I first did this was the example of the HQ event, but that starts on turn 2. So you guys will see that here on the next turn. After that, we do their little activity check. We're done with those. Again, we're probably not going to have anyone to capture. Then I have to remember to move my vehicles, because that is when I am hoping to put some heavier rounds down range with a tank. And honestly, I'm thinking, well, dropping my little thingies here. Honestly, I'm thinking now maybe I move my tank over here, because that tank will put a heavy enough volume that it might keep their direction of fire over here and not risk my mortars. But anyway, I got a break for dinner, so I'm going to cut the video here, and I'll come back with the enemy phase here in just a minute. It's going to be instant for you guys, but it's going to be a little while for me.